welcome to Virtue and Victory, where we are having a conversation with you about the parallels between life, business, and chess. We enjoy exploring wisdom from ancient Stoics to modern day strategies. I'm Doug Wong, and I'm with my co-host, Adam Farr. The second Friday in January. Only the second day in Friday. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I've been hearing it all over the news, been reading it all over the papers. It's a big day for a lot of people, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's a big day in many ways, and I love to talk about that. So for those who might not know, the second Friday in January is called Quitter's Day, which doesn't sound great, but why? Research has shown that many people, and some of the research shows in the 80% range, abandon their New Year's resolutions by this time. And I think that's crazy, Adam. I think it's known, I think pretty intuitively, if you talk to people, like there's probably some point where people they have their New Year's resolutions, they're pretty excited. When does that excitement fizzle out? But I would not have guessed it's the second week of January. Like we're still kind of fresh into the new year. What do you think that says?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be talked about there.
Yeah.
In my view, it was surprising to hear it, but it's also been surprising. It feels like the media has been hyping that up a little bit more this year than in other years, because it definitely caught my attention as I've done my meditations and as I've reflected over the last week. I guess one could say that today's the first day to make it right if yesterday was your quitter's day, right? And so I looked at it in a couple of different ways from a couple of different angles. And what I keep going back to for whatever reason is Meditations 5:9, Marcus Aurelius. Be not disgusted, nor discouraged, nor dissatisfied, if thou dost not succeed in doing everything according to right principles. But when thou hast failed, return back again and be content if the greater part of what thou doest is consistent with man's nature, and love this to which thou returnest. And do not return to philosophy as if she were your master, but act like those who have sore eyes and apply a bit of sponge and egg, or as another applies a plaster, or drenching with water. And he goes on and on to talk about, essentially, let's not overcomplicate this thing. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to stop doing something that we set as a goal. We're going to maybe quit on the second Friday, our New Year's resolution. The beautiful thing is Saturday comes after Friday every single year until it doesn't. And we can have grace with ourselves and we can start over. So what I guess I'm going with is, let's have some grace with ourselves. Let's accept the fact that we may not accomplish exactly what we set out to accomplish the way we thought we were going to accomplish it. For example, if your resolution was to work out every single day, and we're at day 11 of the year 2025, and let's say you miss yesterday because it's Global Quitters Day. That's okay. Today's the 11th, it's Saturday. Get up and do it again. Have some grace, have some patience with yourself, and let's start over. But you're starting over from a much better place, because let's pretend in theory that at least 9 of the first 10 days you did work out every day. So let's be positive. Let's reflect. Let's be grateful that we were able to uphold our goal or our resolution for the first 9 days. Let's call the 10th day a break. And on the 11th day, we rise again and we keep going from a place where we were better off than where we maybe started the year. And so I think if we focus in instead on all the complexities, all the reasons, we tend to overcomplicate things as human beings. I think we can simplify things. I think things are a lot simpler. Okay, we missed yesterday, International Quitters Day. Great. Today's the 11th, Saturday. Let's keep going. We're starting from a much better place than where we started 10 or 11 days ago. Keep going. Have some grace with yourself. Realize that most people quit within the first 10 days of the year. You don't have to be that same person. If you took yesterday off, start again today.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. So let's break it down, because that's the conversation we're going to have. You and I both believe in simplicity is is a beautiful thing, and I agree with you. Humans are beautiful, complex, irrational creatures, and we allow some obstacles to get in our way. So when I think about and reflect on New Year's resolutions, the path to success, obstacles, and potentially quitting, the first thing that pops into my head is it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. I know that's not a Doug Wong quote, but it's a very powerful saying that I think people should remind themselves. And you should lean into the difficult, the hard things. Everybody has bad days, everybody's going to fall down. And I think the most simple way that I would think about this is when you think about intentionality, which is super important from a Stoic perspective, but I just think any strategic plan that you have. Um, Perhaps I want to go to the store. So I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. I'm going to drive to the store because I want to go buy eggs. Right now, I'm sitting in a suburb of Atlanta. We had a couple inches of snowfall. It's cold. There's a lot of reasons not to do things. The city's shutting down because we don't know how to drive in snow here. So you got to go get your eggs and you got to get your bread to survive the
Hmm.
snowmageddon that's happening. So I got to go to the store and get milk. And I come to a red light. Does that mean I just don't continue to go after the red light goes? I go back home? No. Or maybe there was an accident in front of me that impeded my way to get to the store. Like, what do I do? Do I just stop and give up? And I think that's when I think about so early on, especially in New Year's resolutions. We're going to use working out because I think it's the most relatable. It's probably a very common New Year's resolution. If I worked out, to your point, up to this point every day, you should be very proud. That was a success. Let's celebrate that win and let's reflect on why we didn't work out today and what can we get up tomorrow and do better. Sometimes that we need to design our intentionality. And what I mean by that is I've been through this journey. I've made the commitment to myself that I want to work out. Um, there's been times I've had that struggle with the bed where you kind of, oh, it's comfy, it's warm, I don't want to get out of bed. Oh, now I have to change into my gym clothes. Oh, now I need to pack this to go to the gym. I was very intentional. I took some of these tips from, again, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Love that book. Is I cut through all that. I made my life more simple. I packed all my stuff the night before to align with my intention. I went to bed in my gym clothes. Literally just have to wake up. And most of the time, what I found myself is I was more than halfway to the gym before all those thoughts creeped into my head because I made it so easy and simple for myself to be at the gym. I actually made it harder for myself to not be at the gym because my clothes were in the car the night before. I would have to go out into the cold and into the car to get my clothes if I was not to go to the gym. And then the whole time it's like my voice in my head would say, Doug, what are you doing, man? That's not going towards the gym. So I that's my advice for folks listening, right? Is like, hey,
Okay.
if you miss a day, that's okay. I would ask what happened, what can we do different? And by the way, is it the right goal to go to the gym every day? Maybe it's go to the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Maybe you should give yourself a rest day.
Yeah. And I'd say be patient. I mean, you gave me a lot to unpack there. I'll
Yeah.
simplify it. Um, the best part about what we talk about regularly is that all these questions have been answered before us. We're,
Yeah.
we're not we're not curing
That's right.
uncurable things here, right? And so Meditations 5 verse 1, Marcus Aurelius: in the morning when thou risest unwillingly, let this thought be present: I am rising to the work of a human being. Why then am I dissatisfied if I am going to do the things for which I exist and for which I was brought into the world? Or have I been made for this, to lie in the bedclothes and keep myself warm? But this is more pleasant. Dost thou exist then to take thy pleasure, and not at all for action or exertion? So Marcus Aurelius already answered the question. You just said, should I lay in my bed and wear my pajamas, or should I go to the gym? Marcus Aurelius already told us we should get up, we should move, we should take action, because as human beings, we were made to take action, brick by brick, step by step, thing by thing.
Boom. I love what you just said because that's exactly what I was thinking. Brick by brick. So when you think about simplicity, I think that's the other thing. I'm always thinking about what I see in other people in society. One of the symptoms, and I think you've heard me mention it, is there seems to be an epidemic of anxiety, right? And I think one of the things that causes that is we as humans often get overwhelmed because we see the big thing. But if you break any problem down, and I promise you, any problem can get broken down to a more simpler issue, just take care of the thing in front of you. So, for example, maybe the big problem for today is me getting to the gym, and I'm overwhelmed by that thought because that's hard. Well, let's forget about the gym at this moment. The first problem is getting in the car. The second, right? Like, let's if we break it down, those are easier steps, and
Hmm.
we can achieve that brick by brick, right? So this is one of the sayings I love is we can ask people to move mountains, but they say I can't move a mountain. The mountains, it's overwhelming. The secret to removing a mountain is stone by stone. You break it down piece by piece, you'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of the old saying, you have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, right? Thing by thing, step by step, brick by brick, call it what you want. It's a beautiful thing when you just start moving forward. And sometimes you'll take a step backwards. Let's
Mm-hmm.
call that the second Friday of January. We took a step backward. Let's keep going. Today's a new
Yeah,
day. Wake up, assemble your life, action by action. Realize that no one's coming to save you. You're in it all alone. Now, you might have some friends, you might have a good network, you might have some people that care about you. You might have people in your life that are much further ahead than you. You might have people in your life that are further behind than you. The reality is, no one's coming to save you. So get up, get moving, take action. Courage isn't having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have strength. I think it
yeah,
was Napoleon that said that. That's something to really observe and feel deeply. And if you observe things and you feel things, they can be some of the greatest teachers in our lives, right? And so again, it's just taking those steps, taking that action, moving forward, step by step, brick by brick, thing by thing, and you'll slowly but surely build the life that you want.
yeah. I think again, there's always some things to reflect on that. I think making things simple. Let's not overcomplicate them. Let's make not have them overwhelming. I think practicing gratitude, and when I think about gratitude, I also think there's purpose embedded into that. So I was thinking about if you always remember your why and why you started, using that as your north star. You mentioned having a lot of friends. Gratitude to me is kind of the energy we put out in the world. If we're encouraging others and others encouraging us, that embeds itself into the intentionality and kind of drives us. Um, Making sure that you reflect on both the purposes I mentioned, but also the thing that might be holding us back. And this is the number one thing I want to mention to people: lean into the hard things. Uh, Most of the time, we appreciate and celebrate simplicity, and you want to make it easy, but making things easy are extremely hard. You know, I talked about that as well, and so that might be something we unpack later on because people don't understand what I'm saying there. But life and comfort and things that are come too easy are distractions. The Stoics would teach us that, right? Is we want to break things down and break through things. When you do the thing piece by piece and you start to build that habit, 100% you will be in a better position tomorrow, the next day, a month from now. And I'm cheering you on. I know, Adam, you're cheering, our listeners are on, and we can't wait to hear about what people are committing themselves to.
Okay. I agree. I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about this year. I appreciate the time today, Doug, as always.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate all the things we have going on. And even though we're in the second week of January and some people may be starting to think about why they can't. We're here to help encourage you and think about why you can. And we'll continue to have this conversation. Thank you, Adam.
Sounds
Thank you,
great.
everyone.
Thanks, Doug. See you guys.